A person who was entering the property said that there's potential public order offences that have been reported. Therefore, I can require your details so that that can be investigated.
No.
I'd like to do that rather than arrest you so that we can deal with it now.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are reviewing significant footage courtesy of the YouTube channel Alfie Audit. In this interaction, we witness a clear example of police overreach and legal confusion. The encounter begins with officers attempting to coerce identification from the auditor by presenting a false choice between providing personal details or facing immediate arrest. Throughout the video, you will see the officers struggle to justify their actions, resorting to inventing a power to detain for questioning and, in a critical error, attempting to apply Section 19 of PACE, a power reserved for premises, to seize equipment on a public street.
Details or I can arrest you.
Yeah.
So that.
What's the details? Can I have your name and address? Name and
Identify
number,
yourself, please.
officer.
Can you grab my phone
You
so that I can?
You've just seen us outside the police station.
Can you identify yourself,
Right.
please?
Can I explain why I've stopped
No,
you?
no. Answer my colleague's questions. Thank
Identify
you.
yourself, please.
A person who was entering the property said that there's potential public order offences that have been reported. Therefore, I can require your details so that that can be investigated.
No.
I'd like to do that rather than arrest you so that we can deal with it now.
Well, am
So
I
let me just
committed a crime?
confirm.
Can you identify yourself, please?
You've not done that so far. Are you a
Yeah.
constable or are you in impression?
I am
That constitutes an offence.
11733.
Sorry?
11733.
Right out of the gate, we see the officer approaching with immediate aggression, presenting a false binary choice: give me your details or I can arrest you. This is a coercive tactic. Under English law, specifically PACE Code G, an arrest must be necessary, not merely possible. You are under no legal obligation to provide your name and address to the police unless you are being reported for an offense, are under arrest, or are involved in specific traffic-related scenarios. The officer mentions a potential public order offense. Potential is not the legal standard. He needs reasonable suspicion that a crime has occurred or is occurring. Threatening arrest to bypass proper investigation is a failure of due process.
73. On police. Can you have my number? Thank you. Thank you. So at the moment I'm going to talk to this officer here because he's the one who's approached us at the moment.
Possible public order offence.
For what? For
I'm
standing
just trying
outside
to-
the gate? No, I don't think so.
No, just due to an interaction you had with them. That's the report I've got from them.
What interaction?
You also get to report and tell me what you want. So
We don't want to
that's
say
fair
nothing,
enough.
thank you.
There you go. If you don't want to
No
say anything,
comment.
but they did want to say something. So
Well,
unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
when a crime is
It's not a
reported,
crime.
that
Public
gives me
orders are a
powers
crime.
to A, stop and detain you, to deal with that crime, and if required, arrest you.
Yeah,
My colleague now is just taking those details.
that's a load of crap, I think.
So once I know more about the report, I'll be able to tell you more. However, until then, I'm going to take some details.
No, thank you. Not until we know more details at
Okay.
least.
You've been threatening people, you've been intimidating people to come in by putting
Here, the officer claims he has the power to detain you to investigate. This is a massive red flag. In the UK, police generally do not have a power to detain someone simply to ask questions. This is often referred to as an invitation to stay, and it is entirely voluntary unless the officer is exercising a specific stop and search power, such as Section 1 of PACE or Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, or placing you under arrest. You are free to leave. He cannot detain you solely to fish for details based on a hearsay allegation. He is attempting to invent a power of detention that simply does not exist for general street investigations.
Yeah,
their
that's a
faces.
lie.
They felt
That's a
intimidated
lie.
by it.
Well,
They don't want to, they didn't ask for it.
Are you the feeling police then, are you?
The feelings police.
The feeling, yeah, because they feel intimidated, you have
If
to
people
deal
feel
with it.
intimidated and threatened by it, they don't like it.
Well, that's their problem, not mine
If
or
some people
yours.
intimidated you, you want us to investigate
No,
with you.
no, because I've already been through that one and they didn't do anything about it. Right,
That's
so
you. But other people, if they feel
no,
threatened
the
or
police didn't do
intimidated,
anything about it.
they want us to speak to them on that.
Because
That's
it's the
what we're doing.
police, you're doing something about it. And we haven't committed a crime. There's no law against us filming outside.
No, I'm not saying
so,
there's a law against you filming.
so we haven't committed any crime.
I don't mind you filming. Crack on.
and we're filming from a distance, and there's evidence of that
So
on my camera, his
their
camera, and
feelings
cameras
don't come
up
into
there.
it. Their feelings don't come into it.
Why not?
Because they're police. You have
says they're
a
police?
higher tolerance.
Who says they're police?
The control staff, whatever.
Who says they're
They
police?
work for the police.
Do you know who they?
The second officer enters the fray, arguing that people feel intimidated. It is crucial to remember that feeling intimidated is not a crime. For a Section 5 Public Order Act offense, there must be threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior. Simply filming from a public place does not meet this threshold, regardless of how the subject feels. Note also that police officers are expected to have a thicker skin and a higher tolerance for language than members of the public. This is established in DPP v. Orem. Here, the police are attempting to police feelings rather than enforce the law.
Are you going up the hill?
Control staff or the
civilians
police.
or
Some of
whatever
them were
that
police.
do it?
Some of them were police
How do you know?
because they showed their ID badge.
They might have been a police post. There could be a civilian member of staff.
Well,
Who don't have the right.
they still have a high tolerance
How do you know that?
because I do. You
Because
have
you do.
If I swear, if I keep swearing and swearing, you can't do me for it because you have a higher tolerance.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Under Section 5 of the Public Order Act,
You have a higher tolerance
can.
if I'm swearing at you than I was
You don't
swearing
know
at
who
public.
you're talking to there, do you?
Okay.
I wasn't talking to
You
nobody.
don't know who they are.
I'm
Right,
talking
you're
to
not
nobody.
You're putting the cameras in front of their faces. You don't know who they are.
That's a
The
total
lady
lie.
spoke to me, so in interaction I filmed it, which I'm not allowed to do.
Yeah.
So there is no crime here whatsoever.
If they're intimidated by it, they will.
okay, but under
one.
Section 19 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, when a crime is reported, and I can
It's
see
not
you
a-
This is the most critical moment of the interaction. Officer ARV 6 cites Section 19 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act to claim he can seize the phone. This is a severe legal error. Section 19 provides a general power of seizure, but it applies specifically to a constable who is lawfully on premises. It does not grant a power to seize items from a person on the street during a stop. Attempting to use a premises-based power to seize a camera on a public highway is legally illiterate and could constitute theft or trespass to goods if the device were actually taken.
seen already, I can take and seize any articles that may provide evidence of an offence.
And then I'll sue you.
So,
And me.
as I'm saying, you're saying you've recorded it, therefore that almost makes, I can 100% guarantee there's evidence on those machines.
But we didn't do anything.
Okay, so let us just have a chat.
Exactly.
Let's see what was going to happen. Okay, and we'll get to the bottom of it. We're not being argumentative with you.
You are,
We're
'cause
telling
you're trying to,
we were trying to leave. I
we
didn't have
told-
an
we're not-
issue.
We
Hang
were
on.
trying to leave and you
Hang
stopped
on,
us.
and I didn't have an issue.
Exactly.
However, prior
That's
to
the
me
issue.
leaving,
My issue.
someone reported, told us via the radio that they said that you were aggressive towards them.
Rubbish. That's lie.
Hang on,
Go and tell them the lie and
Does
do
it-
them for lying to the police.
hang
then.
on, hang
They
on.
felt intimidated. All right.
No, you said they said we.
Sorry, intimidated, aggressive and intimidated. Okay.
Well, wasn't
However,
aggressive,
listen,
that's a lie.
Listen,
And
you're
you got-
interrupting me now.
The officer admits he is acting on a report that the auditors were aggressive. While police can investigate third-party reports, they must objectively assess the situation in front of them. The auditors are calm and non-violent. The officer's threat to seize the phone, to see the evidence, is essentially a fishing expedition. He is attempting to reverse the burden of proof, demanding that the auditor prove his innocence through the footage, rather than the police proving a crime occurred. The auditor is right to stand his ground. Surrendering the phone at this stage would violate both privacy and property rights.
I then get to come and ask you and say that's what's been said. You get your chance to tell me.
Well, that's a lie.
Okay.
We
Nasty
didn't
character,
do.
mate. Him.
That's a lie.
But when a criminal offence is being alleged, and one has, we are entitled to do that.
Look
Okay.
at that ugly face he's got. Do you feel offended by that? You shouldn't do. Just let them get on with what they've got to do.
So why didn't you stop outside the gate instead of stopping there?
That would be more
Because we
appropriate.
didn't get told until we got there. But thank you very much for.
I bet that's a bit of a porky pie. Literally porky.
Can I report a crime?
If it's genuine.
Yeah.
If it's genuine.
I feel intimidated. And I feel that you're being aggressive, so I'd like to report that.
Okay.
That's not reporting a crime, that's reporting a complaint.
That's a crime. You just said it was a crime.
The officer states, "I feel you are being aggressive." This is a common tactic used to justify an arrest for breach of the peace. However, asserting your legal rights, refusing to answer questions, and filming police in public is not aggression, it is lawful civil resistance. The officer attempts to gaslight the auditor into compliance by labeling non-compliance as hostility. The auditor remains calm, which neutralizes any claim that a breach of the peace is imminent.
You saw us down in outside the station when we was out there, but you didn't want to stop us because it's raining. You got in your little car, you left, let us do what we wanted to do, go home, or go at the next location, and you got in your car, you thought you'd be Cliff and that to waste our time, but it ain't really waste our time, is it?
I appreciate your opinion.
That's my opinion.
We are now in a holding pattern. The officers have realized the auditors know the law better than they do. They have no name, no address, and no seized phone. This highlights the power of no comment and holding the line. If the auditors had cracked and provided ID, the police likely would have issued a community resolution or warning simply to save face. By refusing, the auditors force the police to either commit a false arrest or walk away. It becomes a game of chicken, and the law is firmly on the auditor's side.
Okay, again, so as I said, and typically it's now going to get noisier.
Yeah,
As I said, a crime was alleged. I'm going to ask you again, will you provide me with your details? I'll apologise, I couldn't hear your answer due to the loudness of that machine.
no problem. Yeah, no, thank you.
You said no? I still can't hear you.
No,
No, thank you.
because we haven't committed a crime.
Exactly.
Well, unfortunately, you're entitled to your opinion, but when one is alleged, I'm entitled to mine.
The officer makes one final attempt to obtain details, using the noise of the street sweeper as a pause in the conversation. He loops back to the beginning of the encounter because he has no other options. He asks again, "Will you provide me with your details?" hoping the auditor will simply give up. This confirms that the initial threat, details, or arrest was a bluff. If the necessity conditions for arrest under Pace Code G, specifically to ascertain name and address, were genuinely met, he would not be asking. He would be arresting.
So the police station is over there. Right, and we left there. We was walking by. Now this car's just approached us. It's obviously a police vehicle, and it's the armed police outside Cold Harbour
I think I've met before somewhere else
police station.
on another occasion, and they've got intentions to go to another location after this.
Yeah, I'm going
They've
back
just said
home.
that. So,
The next
yeah,
location for me,
we're
bed.
Okay, there'll be a report made and we've got your descriptions, okay?
And
Lovely.
everything we've done is on camera as well.
You
so-
felt you'd done some work today for the public. Got my description, our descriptions. No one's offended that police station.
Enjoy your days.
Enjoy your day.
You too.
Thank you very much for the photography, it's not a crime in public. I'll make sure they remember that in a minute. Get their fucking numpay off that business. How dare they even chase, like, not even.
As they drive away, the auditor secures the vehicle's license plate, which is excellent practice when preparing a professional standards complaint, particularly regarding the attempted use of Section 19 pace on the street. To recap, the officers failed to identify a specific crime, attempted to enforce feelings rather than law, and displayed a worrying lack of knowledge regarding their own seizure powers. This video serves as a textbook example of why auditing is necessary to hold officers accountable when they misapply the law.